So what I've done is to take the filtrate from collecting the first crop, and I just want to make sure you realize when we first collected the material from the reaction, that was not the first crop, that was the crude product. We took that, crystallized it in ethanol, and then collected the first crop. This is the filtrate from the first crop. So what we're going to do, because that filtrate probably has some leftover paranitro-bromobenzene, and then what we're going to do is boil this down until we get crystallization. Once crystallization is ready, we'll take this off, let it cool, put it in a nice bath further, and then filter that. This is boiling down the filtrate from the first crop, and test tube test indicated it was ready to take off the hot plate, so I removed the stir bar, stoppered it with some paper towel. We're going to let this sit and cool, and then when that crystallizes, we'll probably put it in a nice bath and then filter it through Buchner filtration. This is the crystallized product from taking the filtrate from the first crop and boiling it down until crystallization occurred. So I'm getting ready to filter it by Buchner funnel filtration. I have filter paper in there already. I'm going to put a little bit of ethanol on the filter paper, and then again turn both faucets on. And I also have some chilled ethanol that I'm going to add to this same flask. I think that's probably good. I don't want to wash it too much, so I think that's probably good as far as the washing. And again, just want to reiterate the reason that it's so helpful to disconnect the tubing first, because if I cut the faucet off first, that water could come back in here and then contaminate my filtrate. And today, I certainly don't want that to happen. So I'm not sure in terms of the white solid, so I'm going to transfer that. And then I'm going to do the same thing that I've done before, because I really want to go ahead and get a weight and melting point on this. I'm going to let that air dry just a couple minutes, and then I'll get a weight and a melting point for it. This is the filtrate from the second crop. I'm boiling it down. I doubt very seriously that we will get another crystallized crop to fall out of solution, but I do want to boil it down some, because I'm going to take that, and along with the other first and second crop, we'll do some TLC chromatograms, and then we'll see what that tells us as far as visually is one more predominant than the other. So I'm going to let this cool down a little bit. While that's doing that, I'll get a weight and a melting point on the second crop. This is the filtrate from the second crop that I boiled down to this amount of volume that you see here. I doubt very seriously that there's going to be any crystallization to take place. I'm going to save this liquid. I'm going to let it cool to room temperature. Then we're going to do a TLC of this. This would almost count as our third crop, if you will. The first crop and the second crop. We'll TLC those together and then see what the outcome is. This is the reduction of the filtrate from the second crop, and upon cooling there were some crystals that formed. What I did for this particular one is to take a mixture of the liquid and the crystals, and I'm doing a TLC of both of those combined. So there was the, let's say, i.e. third crop, if you will. What I've done is to spot the first crop. I took some of the solid from the first crop, placed in a well, did the same thing for the second crop, placed in another well, and then took some of that mixture of the liquid and solid from the third crop and placed that in another well, dissolved those in methylene chloride, and then spotted them on a TLC strip plate with silica gel. Our solvent is hexane and ethyl acetate 90-10. So we're going to let that go up toward the top. When it gets near the top, we'll take it out, mark where the solvent is, and then look at it under UV light to see if we can see, is one isomer more predominant than the other. Keep in mind, we're assuming that the first crop is primarily the para isomer, and by melting point, it seems like the second crop is mostly the para isomer as well. And then it'll be interesting to see what is making up this particular mixture here. So this spot here is crop 1, this is crop 2, and this was the mixture of the solid and liquid for crop 3. So I'm assuming that this spot is majority of the para isomer. Notice that the second crop is mostly para. I don't see another spot underneath here, and based on their melting points, I'm going to say these are fairly pure. I think the reason we're seeing this is that I was a little heavy-handed when I spotted the plate, and I think some of this is due to tailing or streaking. Notice, and this looks different as far as almost the color in terms of the UV light. The introduction of this spot, I'm assuming, is the ortho, and this top spot could be very similar to what we're seeing for the para. So I think the first crop is mainly para, second crop is mainly para, third crop we've got a little bit of para, but then this I'm going to say is the ortho isomer.